Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. Feel free to say hello into the chat. Let us know where you're coming from. Welcome to another Wednesday class. I'm here again this morning, and if you haven't met me before, my name's Basti, and I'll be taking the class today. So hopefully we'll have a nice little session together. Today in Norfolk, it's a bit of a grey day, but this would be nice to kind of bring a bit of Qi into the session, a bit of Qi. So, I'm sure next week we'll have Cliff back, but today's going to run pretty much as normal. We've got, we're going to go through some self-healing, some self-scans. We're going to check in with our 3 burning spaces, which if you've been before, you'll know what they are. And we shall go through various different exercises to work through and help the Qi flow more freely. And we'll see how we feel at the end. Okay, so the first thing I like to do, and the last thing to bring the class together, is if you're ready to stand, or if you want to stay sitting also, let's stand up. And what I'd like us to do is to get a sense of just being an actual class, an actual group together. So take a moment to stand. And we're going to just connect with each other. And you can do this with eyes open or with eyes closed if you like. I prefer to close my eyes. So take a moment to just stand there, however's comfortable for you, or if you're sitting, sit there. And relax a moment. And just get a sense of the entire of the group that we are in. All of the people in all of the different places. Imagine in a nice big circle, everyone we've got who's joining. Even the people who are going to be joining later on, you're in this circle as well. And just take a moment to be in the group. So I get a nice sense of a very big circle. This is lovely. And so this is how we're going to start as a group. Fantastic. So whenever you're ready, as usual, we're going to do a self-scan. I'm sure lots of you have done this before. If there's anyone who hasn't, I'll talk through it nice and slowly. I find it helpful to have your feet about hip to shoulder width apart and facing forwards. And then you can just relax your ankles, knees and hips, and you just stand. So, bring your attention to the top of your head and just notice how you're feeling on top of your head. And almost like a sort of a scanning process, you're just sinking through the top of your head, not doing anything with it, just notice how you're feeling in the face, all the muscles and sense organs of the face. Go through the back of the head, into the neck and the throat. Just going down, noticing what it's like, into the shoulder girdle, and down the shoulders and arms. How are your arms today? We're just noticing areas, that's all today. Down to the little bones and tendons and muscles in the wrists and hands and fingers. Good, and then come back up to the shoulders again, and we're going to sink and scan through the chest and the upper back, and down into the torso, noticing if there are any areas of obvious fullness, tension, shakiness, maybe some weakness, anything that's going on. Or maybe you've got some really lovely feelings of brightness and energy and who knows. Just noticing. Through the ribs, through the belly, through the pelvis, hips. You've got your thighs, biggest bones in the body, lovely long muscles of the leg. Down to your knees. How are your knees today? Hello, knees. And down through the lower leg, calf muscle, into the ankles, and into those lovely, more interesting bones in the feet. How's everything in your feet today? Everything is standing on top of your feet. What are they like today? Okay. And then just before we finish, just one kind of big flash image of like, how is the whole of me today? Just get a sense of the whole of you now that you've scanned bits. The whole of you. How am I? Here I am. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to ask Kat, who we've got on chat today, say hello to Kat, to run a little poll of how are you feeling today? And it's nothing specific too much. We're just going to get a poll and just find out how you're all coping with things going on at the moment. So, here we go. So, I'm coping well. I'm okay, or neutral. Or you're a bit stressed at the moment, or you're feeling very stressed. And polls coming through. Nice, half of you have answered. And actually, I mean, that's looking pretty good. Most of you, you're okay, maybe a bit neutral. And that's absolutely fine. We're gonna do some lovely exercises today, and we'll see how it comes out. There's a few of you, 16% so far, have said you're feeling a bit stressed. Well, let's really, hopefully, we'll see if there's any change by the end. And some of you are coping really well. Golden, lovely. There's one person has answered very stressed, so really hope to see that we've found some change by the end of the session. We shall see what we shall see. So we're going to do another poll in a bit, which is the poll on the 3 burning spaces. Now, if you remember, we often have a piece of paper and a pen handy, and you can just mark that into 3 spaces. And then we're going to have upper, middle, and lower. And I'll take you through that now in the body. Now, the 3 burning spaces, you may have had this told to you before. They are the 3 areas in the body where we actually, in a way, produce or manage our Qi, the life of our body. And the upper is where we breathe the heavens Qi in with the lungs and the breath. The middle is where we take in essentially kind of earth Qi through the food that we eat. And then the lower burner is where we get the Qi passed on to us from our ancestors and our parents and our family, an ongoing line of Qi. So that's just in brief the 3 burning spaces and why they're called that, like a sort of factory of Qi in your body. So the lower burner is from the belly button down to the pelvic floor in that space, and you can kind of think front and back of the body. So you can just, again, take your attention inside into that space. You can hold around it with your hands. What's it like in here today? You need to move it around a bit, or you can keep it still, whatever's right for you, to just get a sense. Just listen. Interesting. Okay, that's enough. Maybe a little bit of writing or a picture could come up for you. We'll come to that in a moment. So now we're going to move up to the middle burner. This is from the belly button up to the diaphragm, or just where you've got the ribs come together here. So this area has your liver and gallbladder, and your stomach and spleen, pancreas, things like that. And this, well, we'll come to this later, but just see how this area is feeling. You don't have to have a hand on the back if you can't reach. Just make contact. Bring your attention inside. From the ribs down to the belly button, inside. What's it like? And then you can ask yourself, is it the same or different from the lower burner? Mine's quite different. Okay, upper burner. This is of course from the kind of collarbone here down to the diaphragm and everything that's inside. So you can put your hands on the top of your chest if you like, or you can just leave your arms hanging and feel generally with your attention inside of the chest. And just sink your attention inside to the chest, collarbone to diaphragm. What's it like inside? If there is an image or sound, picture, word, anything, how does it come to you? What's it like? And is it any different from the previous two burners? For me, very different. Okay, spend a moment just coming back to your piece of paper and maybe put a little bit of something on there about what it was like. So mine was a bit with a bit of that sort of going on. I had quite a big breakfast, so my middle burner's quite full. So here you go. This is my representation of my 3 burners. It doesn't have to mean anything to anyone. That's fine. It means something to me. And that's all we're really looking for. So now we're going to launch a poll of which burner you would like to focus on for the session. So here we go. And we have, which one would you like to work on most today? Everyone's jumping in, thank you very much. Interesting. So it's fairly even, but the middle burner's definitely there. Out in front, you could say. Oh, no, hang on. Oh, so the lower burner and the middle burner, very close. Oh my God, okay. So it's changing still, but middle and lower pretty much equal. People would like to work on both middle and lower burner, and then a few people with the upper burner. Now, obviously, we're going to work with all of them. So that's going to be absolutely fine. Everyone will get a chance to work on their burners, and we'll have a chance to kind of find a way of, your way of treating each. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, and of course, we will have a point of the week. We don't have a slide to show you, but we've got the fantastic book it's a great book. So we'll show you when we come to it. First of all, let's get some movement going in our burners and in some of the channels in our body. So standing up if you can, and if you can't stand up, sitting down. And we're just going to start by shaking and loosening the body, just to feel a bit of movement. So you can start just by bouncing, if you're standing, bouncing the knees and getting the hands wobbling. Just loosen up the hands, loosen up the wrists and the fingers. And taking that into the longer muscles of the forearms, however that works for you. And when it comes to the elbows, be nice and loose and smooth. We don't want to jolt the joints. We want them to be as smooth as possible in doing circles. And then you can take that into the upper arm a bit. Move the upper arm about like a chicken dance. And it's fine if you are feeling a bit silly. You're not on camera. It's just me looking silly. Shoulders. You can do some tanning, whatever's right for you. And what's really nice is if you look at your shoulder whilst it rolls around, and it gives a gentle stretch on the neck on the opposite side. And you can lift your arm up if you like, if you can. And down. And if you're feeling very flexible, you can lift your arm right up and open the side of your body. That's one side. Now we're going to do the other. So look to the shoulder, and you'll find the opposite side of your neck just gently warms and opens as well. And you can lift your arm a bit higher. Staying comfortable with your arm. This is just warming and loosening. This is all we're doing for the moment. And if you want to get a bit more of a stretch in the side of the body, you can really open up. Otherwise, just stay nice and easy with it. Okay. So that's most of the upper body. Now let's just think about the lower body. So shaking out a foot, like we were doing with the hand, wibble, wobble, wibble, wobble. And taking that into the calf muscle, the lower leg, wobbling the muscle away from the bone. And the knee joint, nice smooth movements. You can use a wall if you need to. And you've got the thigh. Kind of find a way of like, you can do this. If you can't shake your leg about, you can just like wobble your muscles around on the bone. And it feels just as nice. And you've got the hip. You can kind of turn the hip. You can move the hip with your leg. Or you can even kind of, okay. Ooh. Let's just notice how one leg feels compared to the other. It's always useful just to notice the differences after doing a bit. Okay, sink into your big fluffy leg and move the other one. Wibble, wobble, wibble, wobble. Shaking the ankle and then the calf muscle off of the bone, almost like it's loosening the knee joint. Nice smooth movements with the knee joint. Allows the blood and the qi to flow through the joints, almost lubricating them. You've got the thigh, you can wobble the muscles around, or you can do this. Here we go in the hip joint. However that works for you, you can do nice circles, you can hop, or you can just move yourself around like this. Let's just get the other one. Okay. Woo! And then start to relax. And now just noticing, are you feeling a bit warmer? I certainly am. So, the three burning spaces, the lower and the middle were very important to a lot of you. And we always tend to start with the lower burner because it underpins everything else. So it's the perfect one to start with. If you think of it in terms of the energy I was saying before, of like how the energy we get, then this is where the energy starts. We get the energy from our parents, we get the qi from our parents. So we'll start down here. And you can start by just bringing your hands over your lower burner and just sinking inside with your attention, with your mind, and the feeling that comes from the hands. And all that warmth and blood and energy that we've just been spinning around, and try to have a feeling of it sinking into that lower burning space. And it really helps if you bring the breath with it. So breathing in, filling up the lower belly. So breathing in, relax, and breathe out. Breathing in, filling up the lower belly. And relax and breathe out. No strain, just very relaxed. So if you have difficulty breathing down into your lower belly, you breathe into wherever you breathe into. When you relax, have the feeling of sinking into your lower belly, and then just breathe out what you don't need. So, relax. If you can, place a hand on your lower back. Kidneys govern the lower back, and kidneys are the main point where the energy comes into in the lower burner. And you can even add to this with the breath. If you take your attention to your feet, you know we've done kidney 1 in the sole of the foot. Imagine that you just relax, don't imagine, let your feet relax. Connect with the ground, the feet soften and just spread out. And then feel that center of the sole of your foot just gently open up a little bit. And imagine that when you breathe in, you're breathing in through the feet. And it's filling up the legs with breath, and it's filling up the lower burner with breath. So When you're ready, breathe in, filling up the legs, filling up the lower burner, and then breathe out and just sink it back down. Breathe in through the legs, and relax and just breathe out. Okay, so that's another way of trying it. Now, we're going to do a little bit of light dough in on the kidney channel, which we've done before, and that is just on the inside sort of the back of the leg. So we're just going to tap down. You can do this one side at a time if you like. And you go on the inside of the ankle to the sole of the foot. Just one more time. Inside, back of the leg. Okay, check out the feet. And just let yourself settle again. And just let the ankles soften and open. Let the knees soften and open. Let the hips soften and open. And just let your lower back and your pelvis relax and just sink a little bit. Let your breathing relax and return to normal. And now you can just bring your attention back in. How's that feeling now in the lower burner? Any different? One more thing we're going to do is rub your hands together. Just building a little bit of sensation and awareness in the hands. Warmth, movement. This is kind of a bit more yang and a bit more building. Okay. Bring your hands over each other. Again, below the belly button, above the pubic bone. And imagine that you're sending that sort of lovely warm movement of energy into your lower burner. Like sending it in, and then we're just going to do some circles. That's it. So you'll be coming up on the right, coming down on the left, but just little circles, just below the belly button. And those who know this, you've got the dantian, your lower dantian down here. So you're kind of just bringing a bit of that yang, a bit of that charging of energy. It's almost like you're sending it in right through towards that lovely chunky backbone. So you can be aware of all of those things inside as you're doing this. If you need to, make a sound. I need to. I've been a bit tired recently. So this is great for me. Thanks, everyone. Just another moment. Feeling the legs soft and relaxed and sturdy on the ground. Feeling that lower back nice and relaxed, sturdy in the body. Okay, let the hands come to a close. Last of the energy in the hands just being sent into that lower burner. Okay, how's that feeling? What's that like now? And just briefly, compared to before, what's it like? Great, so for me, it feels a lot more warm, a lot more vibrant, and sort of more full rather than bitty. So that's how it is for me. Excellent. So now we can start to move our attention up to the middle burner. So we have again this area from the belly button up to the diaphragm or the lower ribs. And this is a place where it really likes to have free, smooth movement. So we're going to do a little bit of this turning movement. And I'm going to just say with the legs, it's really great if you can have your feet about shoulder width apart and your knees a little bit bent, but sort of pointing straight forwards. When you turn, you don't want your knees kind of collapsing too much. You kind of want your knees to stay straight forward. So it's almost like your hips are the thing that's doing the turning, just on a sort of straight line. Okay, and the upper body just swinging from side to side for a bit. And just really gently, you're not having to really throw it about at the moment. And as you're doing this, just notice, okay, is this enough for me? You know, maybe your middle burner's been feeling a little bit weak, and so a small amount of movement is enough to engage it. Maybe you've got a lot of tightness in the area and you're like, well, it's just not really doing anything. So like, okay, turn it a bit more. Let your arms really swing around. And you're kind of like, I'm giving myself a bit of room because there's a wall behind me. I don't want to hit my hands. So you can almost let your arms kind of slap on yourself if you're needing to loosen up a bit of tightness. Like this. Lovely loose arms, but the turn and the sturdiness is, you know, held from having sturdy legs. And it gets that middle area of the body just nice and loosely twisting and opening. I need to loosen it. I have a bit of stiffness in my middle burner. So again, thanks everyone. Really appreciate it. And if you're wanting to keep it much lighter, then just remember you're just going from corner of the room to corner of the room and feeling the middle just engage and engage in a gentle twist. So you go for your level. That's what you want to do. Never underestimate the feeling of a good sigh. And then just let the arms relax, let the hips start to relax. Let yourself come back to center. And honestly, just take a moment as it's sort of the last of the turn just becomes very small. Let everything settle. Then find that center. And let the center be in the middle here as well. Really feel that center in, like inside, just in front of the spine. Just starting to kind of go, there's a bit of stillness after movement. Okay, maybe you have to step out. Just done a bit of, it's quite strong on the legs sometimes for some people. And because that can be very helpful for liver and gallbladder movement. So if anyone knows that they have a bit of that need, that's great. The other qualities in the middle burner, which are to do with the element that we are in at the moment, which is the earth element, earthing, grounding, and nourishing, is the stomach and spleen. And I'd like to do a little short Qi Gong movement with you from a set called Ba Duan Jin, which basically just means 8 reels of brocade, 8 reels of silk. And this particular movement is really quite helpful for the digestion and has a little bit of a nice tonifying, strengthening effect for stomach and spleen because of it. So, again, feet about hip to shoulder width apart, facing forwards. Let your ankles, knees and hips just kind of soften a little bit. And you're going to start with one hand facing upwards, just above your shoulder, and one hand facing downwards, just by the sort of diaphragm type height. But try not to have your shoulders, raised up. Try to have your shoulders relaxed still. So if it means you need to start with your hand lower, that's absolutely fine. If you can, hold your hand up high and this hand down low, relax the shoulders. Okay. And you start with your knees sunk down and you press your feet into the ground and at the same time, press your hands opposite each other. Just instantly made my digestion open. Sorry if I burp, everyone. It may happen. And then let your arms relax. Opposite side. One hand facing up above the shoulder, one hand down by the side near the diaphragm. Knees soften, bend, and then press the feet into the ground. Press the hands apart, reaching for heaven and earth. Shoulders relaxed, remember. Hands still facing, this one is facing upwards. And then soften. Okay. So we're going to do just a couple more, and then I'll get you to change it a little bit to really help affect the digestion. So press feet into the ground, press arms in opposite directions, heaven and earth. Relax. Let the knees bend, the opposite hands on the opposite sides. Press the feet into the ground. Press the hands towards heaven and earth. And then let them come back. Okay, well done. Hopefully getting the hang of it. Now we're just going to put a little bit of a change into it. And I'll turn a little bit so you can kind of see a little bit of the difference. So now with this side, and as the hands come into place, we bend the knees. When you're ready, press into the ground, press your hands apart towards heaven and earth, and turn towards the side that you have the hand up in the air with. Feel a gentle twist in the body, not much, just a gentle twist. And then let the arms turn as you bring your knees bend again. Hands on the opposite side. Press your feet into the ground. Press your hands in opposite directions. Relax the shoulders. Turn a bit. Feel that gentle twist through the belly, middle burner. Relax. When you're ready, knees bent, hands in position. Press the feet into the ground. Relax the back. Relax, relax. Open, open. Gentle twist. Last time. Press the feet into the ground. Press the hands apart to heaven and earth with a gentle twist across the middle burner. Relax them together. And just let your arms have a little bit of a And then last thing we'll do for the middle burner is where your belly button is. We're going to do circles again, big circles. And we're going to do 81, specifically 81 circles, and they're going to be big. So you're going to be aiming to go from the sort of top of your pubic bone all the way up to the lower ribs and back round again. I believe this is clockwise. It's going up on your right side and down on your left. It's following your lower intestine and then your small intestines. And the reason why it's 81 is because numerologically speaking, 1 is very yin, 9 is very yang, and so energizing. And 81 is 9 times 9. So it's like we're doing yang times yang inside of our body, energizing. So, rub the hands a little bit, build up a bit of feeling and sensation in the hands. Bring the hands over the belly button. Bring some of that buzzing sensation in the hands inside, warming. You can even imagine like pouring in light or warm water or honey or something nourishing. Something nourishing your belly is lovely. Okay, and then start to do the circles. 1, 2, I'll count in my head so we don't have to think about numbers. And you're just warming and building energy and blood in the belly, in the digestive organs. And then we can build a bit quicker, get that yang building now that we've got a bit of movement. If it's making you feel a little bit unsettled, then you can just slow back down again So you go at your rate if needs be. I'm going to slow down a little bit. As I said before, I had a big breakfast. And in terms of my count, 78, 79, 80, 81. Bring your hands back over your belly button when you're ready. And let that feeling of like there's lots of movement have been going on, let that just generally find its moment of settling. Find its moment to come to really little, like maybe there's some micro movements in the hands, over the belly. Maybe there's some stillness about to come out from that. Pretty much still. That's good. Nice. Okay. Shake off, shake off, shake off. And now we can tune in to the middle burner and just see how it's feeling now. So let's just check in. What's the middle burner feeling like now? Nice. For me, it doesn't feel so uncomfortably full. It feels a little bit more like, oh yeah, there's movement going on. This is nice. So I don't know how it is for you, but hopefully a little bit different. Well, it doesn't have to be different, but maybe it is. We shall see. Okay, so we've done the lower burner, and we've done the middle burner. So we've just got the upper burner to do. And this is a great one to do with stretches and using breath, because it's opening the chest and the breath is involved in the lungs. And we've got a couple of movements which we really love doing, and you've done lots of times if you've been before, so we're going to go into those. And we'll start with the heart protector stretch, or pericardium stretch. And it's where we begin by stretching the arms forwards, and you feel a little bit of a stretch around the back like this. And then from the middle fingers, you start to open your arms out. Just open them out sideways like that. And you're just pointing a little bit, opening your hands backwards. And remember, if your shoulders are a little bit difficult to move or sore, just take it as easy as you can and try to have them as relaxed, not up, but as relaxed as possible. Okay, so breathing in and breathe out. Just hold it for a moment, feel the stretch and relax. Hopefully it wasn't too much. We'll just keep going now, a couple more. So forwards, breathe in. And middle fingers going outwards. Feel the chest gently open. Maybe point the middle fingers backwards. Relax the shoulders and let go. Feeling probably right down the middle of your arm. That's kind of where it generally goes. So we'll do one more of these. So reaching forwards. And slowly. Middle fingers outwards. Relaxing the shoulders. Feeling the chest open. Lovely. Okay, let go. Oh yeah, I can feel that really nicely. Just kind of like open and a bit more sort of movement and buzzy down the middle of my arm. Lovely. So then the next one we're going to do is with the thumbs open like this. We're going to stretch the thumbs out and just lift them up and point them kind of behind you. So it's going to be like you can yawn with this one as well. This is a nice one to just like, a bit like a stretch in the morning. I like pointing my index finger as well. Dear. Yeah. Nice. Yawning is incredibly good. It's so lovely. It's such a wonderful thing to do, and it can help to open the lungs and bring more air in. So, fingers and thumbs. And just stretch up, a little bit outwards, point the thumbs behind you. And then just If you want to yawn again, feel free, we'll do another one. Oh, nice. So this helps to open the lung channel and a little bit its partner, the large intestine. And that I certainly can feel just a little bit more across the shoulder and the upper chest, which is really great at helping to open the lungs out. And the next thing we'll do, I've done before with you, if you've been to one of the classes when I've been, but I'm pretty sure Cliff has done it as well. And this is really great for the upper burner. Really great. Opens up the chest and the upper back and the shoulders, and it gets the channels opened. I'm going to show you sideways on. So as usual, feet hip to shoulder width apart, knees a little bit soft. And start just by letting your arms swing, just normally, kind of like in front of your belly, and a little bit behind. And feel the crown of your head gently connected with the heavens, and then just have it sort of like it's just being bounced. Bounce, 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 bounce. Or if you prefer, you can come from the floor and just bounce your feet if you want to have more of a floor connection. And with the bounce, you can use it to make your arms come up a little bit higher. You don't want to, in front, you don't want to let your arms come up any higher than shoulder height. But you can use the bounce to make your arms come up as high as you like behind you. Remember to be aware of any shoulder problems or any knee problems. So if you've got, a gammy knee, don't be really, pushing it. And if you've got tight shoulders, then just be quite gentle with it. So you find your area of okay in doing this. Okay, now, whilst we're doing this, again, you can thumbs, and if you like to, forefingers, I do. And they're just kind of in this position where they're like that and then like that. Okay. So just bouncy, 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 bouncy. Here we go, opening up the arms. You're letting your arms be really nice and loose. And bounce and bounce and bounce. And I tell you what I really like doing, is I like turning my arms into different positions. Like at the moment I've got my hands upside down, just to see what the difference is like in my shoulders and in my back and in my chest. Feels like it's this feels like it's starting to open up my shoulder blades a bit. If I turn them out a little bit and maybe go outwards a bit more, then I'm engaging with my shoulder, like the joint here at the top of my shoulder. The acromioclavicular joint, I believe it's called. We'll see. Okay, so you can kind of turn them around in different positions. At the moment, just however you like. Just do a couple more. Oh, there we go. And then again, just letting the arms completely relax. Whatever bounce is left in the knees, you're just letting it find its own settle. It's almost like you just let the body relax into where any small movements are allowed to carry on until movement becomes so small that you find a kind of a still point. For me, just starting to feel that. There we go. Nice. Okay, so now we can kind of just check in with the upper burner and just bring your attention inside into your chest. Notice how that's feeling now. Oh, it's much more buzzy for me. Interesting, but kind of nice and open, which is good. So we can think comparing it back to how it was before and then how it is now. Lovely. And you can also just do a moment of checking in, upper burner, and then middle burner, Again, how's the middle burner doing? Okay. Much difference from that one to that one? Yes, for me. And then middle burner, this middle space, down to the lower burner. What are they like? And maybe you need to put a little bit more attention on the middle burner, just on its own. How's that? Good. Lovely. Great, it's amazing. Excuse me, there's my digestion kicking in. Good times. Okay, so let's get on with, because time's cracking on, the point of the week. And this is, it's not a point that's used by everyone that I know who works in this area, but actually it's a really, really lovely point. We've been working with the spleen channel recently, you may remember. I'm going to get the chair, hang on. Here we go. So, if you've been coming to the classes recently, you may remember that we've been working on the spleen channel, which runs from the big toe along the inside of the foot here, and it's said to run along the edge of the red and white skin, the sort of skin of the sole of the foot and the skin of the top of the foot. And it comes up. We had that lovely spleen 6 point here, does everything. Contraindicated in pregnancy though, unless in labour. And then it comes up just next to the shin bone in the flesh until it comes into that corner point, the spleen 9. I believe you may have done that last week, which is a great point. And then it goes, you can see my kneecap here, comes on the inside of the kneecap and up into this bulge of this muscle here. And what you're looking for, I don't have a great picture. I'll show you this picture in the wonderful book by Peter Dedman. So you can see here, here's the kneecap, and it's just above it, almost like above that top corner of the kneecap. So I'll just pop this down. I'll try and show you on my knee. So I'll tense my knee a bit so you can see. Here's the kneecap, patella, and you come on the inside of the leg and above that corner by what's called 2 sun, which essentially is like 2 thumb widths above that corner. So it's there. The other way of doing it is if you do 3 fingers and you're just at the ends of the fingers there. That'll be the same as 2 sun, 2 thumbs. Now, this point is called, let me get the Zhui Hai. I don't know about pronunciation, so don't quote me. Zhui Hai. And it basically means sea of blood. And it is a fantastic point for the blood. And its main quality is that it can relieve heat in the blood. So if you've got irritated skin conditions, then this is a great one, you know. Eczema, psoriasis, urticaria, what are the other ones that actually, yeah, painful hot sores, things like that. So itching on the skin and things like that. This is a great point. So I'm going to leave it so you can kind of see where it is. But like before, let's just start a little bit higher up in the thigh. And again, it's like the front of the thigh in line with the kneecap, and it's on the inside edge. So just squeezing with your thumbs down, find that point, and just give it an extra kind of squeeze, and then go down past it, down to that lovely spleen 9. And just do this a few times over, self Shiatsu, sink in. And you can do it with thumbs, you know, like this, but you can also just let the weight of your arms and your body kind of sink through the thumbs into that area. Lovely. Okay, so, and in a moment I'll tell you a story of someone I worked with, and I worked this point and it had an amazing effect. But before I go into that, it does have another effect as well. which is an effect on the blood. It's not just relieving heat, it can really help to move blood that is stuck or to harmonize or regulate blood flow. It's great for nourishing the blood as well. Okay. Just a couple more squeezes. And just, it's like nourishing and hugging your blood. Okay. You just give a little bit of a nice stroke down now of that area. We'll come to do some more doing on it in a minute, but I just wanted us to focus on the point initially. I'm going to do this again on this side. So let me stand up to show you again. So here's the inside of my leg. So I'll do that. There's the top of the kneecap. 3 fingers width just on top of the kneecap. Boink, there. So that's where we're aiming for. It's in that sort of round bit of muscle there. Okay. So same thing, start just a little bit higher up on the inside aspect of your thigh, work down towards the knee. When you get that sort of just a couple of thumb measurements above, and then down a bit, and just carry on doing that for a moment. And I'll say that I was working with a client who had, I can't remember what it was, but some autoimmune disorder. And one of the problems she had was that sometimes, she had very irregular periods, and at that particular moment, she was not being able to stop her bleed. Now, I won't go into great detail more than that, but this point I was working on, and for some reason I just felt that I needed to stop here and sink into this point. And at that time, I didn't know that it was helpful for regulating menstruation, for helping the blood, for nourishing the blood and moving stuck qualities there. So I felt drawn to stay with that point rather than just carry working on, and went through a nice process with it and then carried on. And she got in touch with me the next day. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what you did, but," and I was expecting her to say something really awful. And I was like, "Oh no." And she said, "It's been absolutely fine. I felt great." And her period was able to stop. And she'd had weeks. So she was very blood deficient by that time. And she was already starting to feel better. It was a magical point to connect to. So such a wonderful thing for menstrual problems with women, but also just generally for nourishing the blood. It's something we could all do with sometimes, is nourishing the blood. Okay. There we go. Fantastic. So point of the week, spleen 10. 2 sun above the top of the knee cap on the inside aspect in the bulge of the muscle. Sea of blood. A lovely enriching and moving point for the blood. Do hope you enjoy that. Use it whenever you need. If you're feeling a bit blood deficient and weak in yourself, it's a great point. And of course, it can be used really nicely for the knee joint itself, especially if you connect it with that spleen 9 that was on last week. So you can work spleen 10 and spleen 9, and it will help the channel to open up and help the blood to flow through the knee joint. Enjoy. There we go. Okay, so time is moving on. So let us move on as well. There we go. Thank you, Kat. So we've done a bit of the 3 burning spaces, and we've done, that's sort of a bit more of inside of the body. So let's just do a little bit of outer or yang channel work. We're just going to do a bit of doing, and we can start on the head and face and then start coming down. So let's just do a little bit of massage and moving around and squidging of the face. Nothing in particular, just like, whoa, there's my face, and it needs a bit of movement and a bit of touch. And you can like get under the arches of your cheeks, the zygomatic arch, and really kind of pressure in, and you can tap, and you can tap around your jaw, or you can just squeeze. There's my gums in there. And the gums and our mouth are the opening for the earth element and the stomach and spleen, which is what we're wanting to nourish us at this time. So, feeling that gum, the bony part of our mouth there, maxilla, I think it's called. And then on the lower, we've got the mandible and the gums of the lower part of our mouth. And then you've got that big muscle for munching food at the sides of the jaw. And there. Lovely. And that's just going to activate a bit of the energy, a bit of the qi for the stomach and spleen, which will help not only with digestion of food, but also digestion of life experiences. And so we can get very overthinking. You can come up around the sides of the heads, or tapping, or whichever you like. So yes, with the earth element, we can get very overthinky. And sometimes we just need to be a little bit more grounded. And so doing this sort of work around here and this movement that we were doing before can really help the stomach and spleen to just go, oh yeah, digest these life experiences nice and easily. Okay, over the top of the head. Got no brain in there? I certainly don't. Okay, and often we do this thing of just like squeezing the neck at the back. I like doing it one side, then the other, and squeezing just by the side of the spine, and then squeezing a bit further round. We've got gallbladder channel as well in here, which is a great one. That goes into the middle burner. However, we've done it lots before, so I'm sure you've got lots of ways of doing it. You can tap it with your fingers as well. The neck and the shoulders can hold lots of tension, which is why we're just doing it, spending a bit of time here. Maybe just come onto the side of the neck a little bit. Just give it a little bit of movement somehow, or a gentle tap. Don't want to miss out. Okay. And then the tops of the shoulders. And you can just do this with an open hand or with a loose fist, like this, floppy wrist. Hold your elbow and kind of like, doom, like that. You can kind of flop it around using the other hand and go up onto the shoulder. Here we go. Or you can do a nice open hand, kind of gentle. And if that's a bit much for you, then just do that sort of a thing. So find your level. There's a point on top here which is contraindicated in pregnancy again. So if you feel there's a chance you may be pregnant, don't go whacking it too much. Just like, maybe just like gently rub, and that's enough. Okay. And then the other side. Just feeling a bit of motion and movement and opening for the fascia and the muscle and the tendons, all opening and loosening and getting a bit of that blood that we enriched with spleen 10 to move through. Okay, lovely. So we're just going to slap down the outside aspect of the arm a few times. Go over the shoulder, outside aspect. Going to get all of the yang channels in the arm. We're almost out of time, so we're literally just going to do this and then go down the outer aspect of the legs. There we go. And I'm I'm just going to finish this off just before everyone has to go. Just going to finish off as we started with getting into that sense of the group together. So if you could just take a moment before we stop and just come to standing or to sitting, bring your attention back inside and being part of this lovely group today. And just really recognize this circle of everyone that's involved, whether they're tuning in later or in this class in this moment right now. And just a sort of moment of thanks everyone, thank you. And thanks for the day. Doesn't matter what the weather's up to, there's no such thing as bad weather, only the wrong clothing. So just appreciating and being thankful. And I want to say thank you very much, everyone. And we can come back. And thank you so much. I know we've probably gone over time a little bit. Just over time. Have yourselves a lovely day, wherever you may be. And I'll see you again sometime. Next week we'll have Cliff. We'll have another lovely earth point. And yeah, we'll see where we go. Enjoy and goodbye.